What's up, my ninjas? Strident here, and I am back with another toy review. This time it is the first Avenger himself by Hasbro, and I've kind of been searching for this figure for a while. I've been seeing it, I've been looking at reviews, and you guys are slipping on YouTube, man. The reviews are pretty bad. People leave out a lot of things, but you know, it took me a little while, and I finally decided, screw it, I'm just gonna get it, because I dig this design so much, because it reminds me so much of Ultimate Cap. So, as you can see from the pictures, this is a stellar figure. The design is, really nice. So they nailed everything for as far as sculpt goes. You get, a nice machine gun, you get cap shield, and you get a sidearm for him. So we're gonna jump right into the figure and all what he can do. His good points and bad points. As you can see, detail-wise, he fits in with the rest of your crew, be it a mixture of Marvel Legends and movie figures. As you can see behind him, I have some movie figures as well as some, old school Marvel Legends. But they nailed the likeness. They nailed all the details on the straps, the buckles, all the different textures, the folds, the wrinkles. This feels like the movie version, and I really love the movie version because, like I said earlier, it reminds me of the Ultimates version. I'm a huge fan of Ultimates 1 and 2. I think those two books nail the character perfectly. Not a huge fan of Cap with guns, but it does make sense that he uses them. And as you can see here, he can use his guns properly. And that's something I was worried about because articulation is an issue on these figures. But as you can see here, he holds his guns properly. It's nice. He holds the machine gun two-handed. He can hold it with one hand, but the test is usually to see if they can hold it with both hands, and he does that perfectly. No problems, nothing to ask there. His sidearm, he holds that perfectly. Finger goes in the trigger hole and everything. And even though it looks kind of on the chunky side, it still looks like it's in proportion to the figure. And that's what I dig about this. They kept things pretty, in good proportion. I like the way the light falls on this figure. Reminds me of Brian Hitch's artwork. It wasn't hard to find positions to light him from. His arms are well enough articulated that you could actually make him put his gun in his holster, which is nice, It's nice when figures actually can utilize the gear and the, little details that they have on them. The shield. The shield looks like the shield from the movie. It is made of a very soft plastic that seems to kind of, it was warped. I need to put in some hot water and then let it, sit in some cold. But his arms work well with the shield. Slide it in and he holds on to it. There's some details with the shield that I don't like, but I will get to that in a little bit. But as you can see, the shield works well. He looks nice when posed with the shield, because, he's Captain America. If they failed in that respect, then they failed with the Captain America figure. It actually holds, it clips on pretty tight, and I like that. It's nice. You can see his articulation. With some work, you can figure out a good way to put him in most poses. There he is in a little charging star type pose, which I love to do with Cap because, that's like his signature thing. There's that pose I always put him in, the running pose where people could be shooting at him or something. He's getting ready to take off and whoop some ass. With some support, like I said, you can get him in these poses and it looks really good. The twists and the joints that they did give him, for the most part, they allow for a lot of the semi-Marvel Legends-ish type poses. I like the fact that he has Kung Fu grip as opposed to the articulated fingers that don't do anything. There he is pulling off a 540. I love making characters like Cap do that, but in doing so you can see the soles of his shoes. Well detailed. Here he is jumping mid-air, shooting at somebody. It's another pose I like for him to do. If you notice with my old the World War II Cap review, some of these poses I did with him, and I also did them with the Ultimate Cap. There he is with a little John Woo action. I like the fact that you can get the poses to look natural. For some reason, though, it does take some work. More John Woo-ish, Matrix-ish type action. The fact that they put the ab crunch on his upper pectoral muscles instead of actually giving him an ab crunch joint, it kind of, makes the movement look a little weird in comparison to the Marvel Legends version, but it doesn't hurt the figure 100%. That's definitely not where the articulation suffers. So there he is after he successfully landed his nice sideways dive, cartwheel, shoot maneuver. But he looks really cool doing all that stuff. It's like, I kind of wish he did more of that stuff in the movie, but still was awesome. It's an awesome figure as far as, the design goes. And overall, if you love the design, you'll probably just love the figure, because that's where this figure really shines. That's where most of these Hasbro Marvel movie figures shine. They're definitely not as well engineered as the Marvel Legends, and this is where I'm going to get to that. First off, so you can see him in comparison to Ultimate Cap and the original Cap, and you can kind of see the things they have in common. The movie costume really, really lends itself to Ultimate Cap. Now the shields. Number one, the shield for the movie Cap is smaller than the other two shields, the previous two Cap shields, which is strange because Hasbro is notorious for reusing parts. So it's strange to me that they didn't reuse it. The second thing was, the old Caps they had straps and a clip, so you could use the straps to put the shields on the character's back, and then you just clip the shield on. They didn't do that with the new Cap. It's really lame. Instead, they did these two, rubber, straps that he just grabs onto. One is smaller than the other, so one goes over his wrist and the other part goes in his hand. The old one, straps, and a clip. So the cool thing about that is if either break, you've got an alternative, which I've had these figures for going on, I know the first one I've had for almost 10 years, and he's in good condition, and so is his shield. I mean, it's a little worse for the wear, but, the clip is still perfect, which makes you wonder, why did they not just reuse one of those things? Now, as far as detail goes, there are some stark differences between painting and the detailing that went into the original Marvel Legends Cap and the newer one. We can start with their boots. You can see the articulation in their legs are completely different. There are some things there that are similar. They've got the calf swivel, thigh swivel, but the legs were on a ball joint 100% on both Marvel Legends versions, and not so much on the new Cap. There's two, for whatever reason, they use two different types of they use the ball joint and then a swivel up top, which you can see when looking at this one. Whereas the original one just had one ball joint holding everything in place. This one has a ball joint, then a cut, then a swivel. And the instead of having a bar go through the crotch so that it connects the two, ball joints, it's two ball joints sticking out of the upper portion of his thigh. So you kind of have this weird movement. You can't just make him sit down, It doesn't turn that way. You can see he's got a lot in common with the Ultimate version, which I was talking about earlier. But still, as far as articulation goes, you don't see it. But look at the texturing. There's a big difference. More texturing is on the Ultimate one than the, or on the new one than on the original Ultimate one. But look at this original Cap. They kind of painted in the chainmail, and it looks like some type of weave of some sort. Then look at the Ultimate Cap. They actually have sculpted texture. It looks like mail. It could be Kevlar mail. It could be straight up chain mail, but it looks like a little of both, And here's the new one. It looks like some type of weird Kevlar mesh or something like that, which is awesome. because I mean, this is what it looked like in the movie. And it's nice that this goes all throughout the figure. You know, kudos to Hasbro for that. But like I said earlier, can't put the shield on his back. Even the 3 3/4 inch figures had a little peg on the shields, so you could just clip it to his back when you're not using it. Why they left this out for the 6 to 8 inch version, I don't know. Kind of bothers me. So if you can switch up, if you have two caps, one of the older ones, if you can find them and you switch up, or if you can find a shield on eBay, switch it up, you can give it to him and you might have a better situation. So this is where overall the figure does not really compare to the original or the Ultimate Cap from Marvel Legends. But like I said, you give him one of the old school shields and you kind of have a win, because he's not a horrible figure by any means, but little things like the fact that his arms cannot go down any further than what you see. He cannot put his arms at his sides, and the fact that he can't really raise his arms any higher because they sculpted shoulders that come all the way out. They jut out at the top, almost like a shoulder pad, and they prevent his arms from actually being raised completely above his head. So you can see the difference right there. But all in all, like I was saying, he fits in well with your Avengers team. He's a little on the small side, but it's okay because he's not that tiny. I say if you see him, just because of the design and the fact that the sculpt is so on point, pick him up. He's totally worth it. He looks the part. You can, with a little work, you can get used to the articulation. You can get him to do some things the way you want him to do it. And, that's a win. It shouldn't be that difficult to do it, but I mean, because it is, that's where I would kind of think twice about the figure. But they did a good job overall. And I recommend the figure to, fans of the design from the movie or fans of the movie. This is as close as you're going to get to it. It's better than the Marvel Select one, because the Marvel Select one, even though it's painted better and it's sculpted a little bit better, just a little bit, you can't really play with that thing. You can't pose it. And I mean, most collectors know if you're going to get a Marvel Select figure, you're going to get cheaper materials, better paint, not as much articulation in some cases. So if you see this, pick it up. It's a win-win. I will be back with another review. And that's it for me, you guys. You've been great. Peace.